Dimeji Falana. Sunday Dimeji Falana, who holds a BSc Computer Science, University of Ilorin, and currently an MBA Business Administration from the University of Chester, is an entrepreneur and a full-stack software developer with over a decade of experience in ERP solution development for banks, universities, and government. He was a trainer at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, AITI summer program. He has led various generations of software developers and over 20 software projects successfully. Dimeji has mastered how to influence the team to success. He has traveled to over 15 countries, including North America, Asia, Africa, and Europe, speaking and attending conferences, exhibitions, bootcamps, and workshops on edtech and startup growth programs. He was a member of a paramilitary organization where he led as a parade commandant for 7 years and received awards and medals. He is the CEO and co-founder of Edvers, the leading edtech in the emerging market. Teachers and school leaders from over 790 schools use the software to automate their operation from student enrollment to graduation. Edvers won the Best Prize Transforming Education at the City Stars World Summit 2018 in Switzerland. Recently, he was selected and invited among the top 25 young founders in the world by Westerwelle Foundation in Berlin, Germany, where he attended the highly competitive Young Founders Program in April 2019. Also, he was selected among KAF's business and political delegates to the German Bundestag Senate to represent Nigeria and collaborate with German entrepreneurs. Let's make welcome Dimeji Falana.
Yay! Sorry, I don't know why I keep doing this, but I'm going to unmute him and I'm going to ask him.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Dimeji. Thank you so much, sir, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here. And most importantly, I'm also happy to be in the midst of the educators across the globe. First of all, I'd like to greet Mrs. Tara Olanitori. I'm really happy to be here and also to have you in this meeting today, and all our wonderful people from dance schools and every other school represented here. I'm really, really excited to be here. I woke up very early thinking about this program, and had to join early because I just wanted to see what is going to happen at the end of the day. That just tell you that I'm not really taking this for granted. This is a very big opportunity, and I really appreciate you for inviting me, because you know that I have something to say. That's why you invited me. And I just want to confirm if everybody can hear me very clear before I share my screen. And I have a lot of wonderful brothers. I've been seeing faces of people I know very well here, but because of my time, I might not be able to go into mentioning all the names. So thank you very, very much for inviting me. So I have a very simple assignment to do this morning, which is about to speak beyond the classroom. So my topic, I'll share my screen, and then we are going to take a look. Just confirm to me if you can see my screen right away, then I can start. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, perfect.
Okay. So please, I would like if you can just stay on video with me. It's easy,
Sure.
you know, so that when I speak and then I look at someone's face, it's easy to connect, and you know, that way. So thank you very much. I'll be speaking on beyond the traditional classroom, and you know, the topic got me thinking about how we saw the education space in 2009 when I am a co-founder, when we were in the university 300 level, trying to get into the 400 level, when we met someone that has a similar profile of our dear director in the house, Sarah. And then, you know, she was running a private school with her mom, but she was handling a lot of transformation in the school at the same time. But they had challenges around being able to have a uniformity around grading system for students. So parents complained that a particular teacher will use different rubrics for grading. And then if a student score 80, then they'll put A. and another teacher will say A will start from 70, and parents complain a lot. And then at the same time, they had issue with being able to put records in place to know who are defaulting in school fees. And then, so when we met the woman, she was very open, and then she was interested in hearing from what kind of solution we can provide to actually solve the problem they have. And so my friend reached out to me, and that's Daddy, that's the CEO of the company. Hello. My friend reached out to me, and I felt like, okay, this is a problem we can solve. And then I just jumped into it to see how we can do the analysis and then provide a solution. So we sat down with the school for close to 2 weeks, and then we built the first version of EdVest. That was 2009. And then we didn't even focus more in building a business out of it, but we just look at things from the position of solving a problem. And that was just the beginning of EdVest, and up till date, just to summarize the whole thing because of our time. So that was how EdVest started. So it got me thinking about how we started and then what we saw in the future. We know definitely that there will be a time that issues around population increase in Nigeria and Africa generally will come because we are giving back so fast, and the statistics is showing that the population of Africa, people within the age range of 15 will be about 1 billion, and then that is in the new century. And talking about the age range that will go to school, talking about primary and secondary school, will also explode. And if you know very well, if you go to some secondary and primary schools in Nigeria or anywhere like Tanzania or Egypt, in Lagos, you will see that the public school system is being overwhelmed already. When you have about 120 students in a class, you see 150 students in some schools, 80 in a class, of which in some private schools we have 18. And even some private schools, you can have as much as 30. And it's just because of the fact that the population is increasing. And then we have to now start thinking of what can we do beyond the classroom to be able to respond to the population growth. So another thing we saw is that we realized that the school system at the same time, if we look at building physical infrastructure, like buying more land and building more schools, these are very, slow to build. They are costly, and then they are rigid and costly to maintain. And that's why you see dilapidated buildings of governments, and you see a lot of private schools not being able to maintain buildings properly. And then you see a lot of private schools who cannot even afford to have their own building. And several incidents that I don't want to remind us about, building collapse in school and stuff like that. So we need to really, really think about what is going to happen to African education, because we are growing and the population is increasing. So we need to begin to think of systems on what we can do to actually respond to the need of the growth. And also, we know that there are several interventions in this space that are coming to come and be some sort of messianic intervention in the form of just building video into a device and making. Hello. So I have one of my boss here.
It's all right, sir. That's why we are here for them.
He just distracted a little. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
And yeah, so she has made me to go to the next slide, of which I'm not done yet. So now we have seen a lot of investment in companies coming to bundle tablets with videos and so many things around just getting tablets for students and stuff. But some of these things come in a form of personalized learning, which in most cases, you see a lot of debate around personalized learning, that the students' brains are limited, the student learning capability are limited to know what to learn. So if you want K-12 students to personalize their learning, we will be in trouble if we don't do it the right way. Because even if you look at the MOOC, the Coursera, the Udemy, and co, even shortly before COVID-19, the statistics shows that only 15% of the courses that started got completed. Only 15%. And this Coursera, the Coursera, Udemy, they have the target market that are adults, people like me and you. So it means if the adult cannot sit down and take the tally beyond 15% completion, how about the kids that are between the age 18, 4, 5, 10? How can they do better? You understand? So because personalized learning is about getting the students to be able to learn on their pace. It has its own advantage, but the disadvantage, a lot of people have been debating this, that, it focuses more, on just getting the video in the hand of students and let them learn. And learning goes beyond just the content. In fact, what comes first is assessment for learning, which is to determine how to learn, and then assessment of learning, which is to get the evidence that learning has occurred. And if it's not done properly, it can be judgmental. So, and we've seen a lot of intervention like in Osun State that actually came with a lot of, ahead of thinking of technology to create device and video for students, of which there are so many stories around Okoimo that the student actually turned the video and the tablets to watch, to turn the tablet around to be watching Nollywood movies in the school. And there are so many stories around that. Even within that year, Punch newspaper also wrote that a year, 2 years after, around 2016, 2015, the WAEC pass rate in Osun State was not actually ranked among the top 20 in the state. So only 18% of students were able to pass, you understand, despite this technology intervention. So now the direction I am seeing things, and this presentation is going to go, is to think around how can we use technology in a manner that we are not leaving students to be on their own, and then yet doing the right step, taking the right step in the right manner to be able to teach beyond the classroom, because the population growth is going to continue. But now, the next thing now I want us to think about is the important trial, talking about the curriculum, the pedagogy, and the data. The curriculum from academics is defined to be the documented information, instruction on what to teach. The pedagogy is the style of how to teach or what students should learn in a particular pattern. And then the data is the most important aspect of this, because the data that we keep about our schools, the data that we keep about education, will not only help us to know who is performing well, but will help us to know how to even plan for the future of education. Will help us to know how to plan for schools, how to plan for each class, how to plan for each student in the class, how to plan for each subject, and how to plan for each topic that is taken, and how to plan for each lesson. So the data we keep about curriculum, the data we keep about pedagogy, the data we keep about the student learning will guide us to determine which form of intervention should be done, even before we make any investment in technology. It is good to say beyond the classes, every student should be on technology, but my major concern is that if this is not done with this 3 trial in mind, we are going to waste a lot of resources, just like the way we have been seeing a lot of intervention in education technology. I can name so many failed intervention in education technology across Africa by even known and big organizations. I don't want to mention names. Even in America, there are so many failed interventions because these 3 trials are not considered. Before a student will learn, there is something we call previous knowledge. And when the brain wants to assimilate, the brain assimilates better by relating what is learned to the previous knowledge so that learning can occur and research back that up. So if we don't know what students already understand about a particular topic or concept, we will not know how to even teach the students. So what we will have is that we are teaching unknown students, even though we know their names, we know their parents, but they are still unknown to us because we don't know what they knew before the class begins. So the data will show us that these students in assessment for learning, they are at this stage. This is the experience they have had. And then the teachers will now facilitate the learning using direct and or indirect method, either virtually or physical classroom or blended learning, to now deliver facilitation in a manner that we get the student to learn, to be able to connect what they learn with the previous experience, because we learn forward. We don't learn in isolation. Any learning that is done in isolation that we cannot connect to previous learning, it will drop off along the way. And that's why everybody shouts when students fail WAEC. And the question is, what has happened to that student before, 1 year before writing the exam, 2 years before writing the exam, maybe from SS1, what has been happening in the first term, second term, third term, half of the term, a week, a month? What is the performance of students in the set theory, in the cell in biology, in taxation in economics? The week they took taxation in economics, was there any assessment that showed that the students have understood the concept of taxation? Was there an assessment for learning before the taxation was taught? All these things they are the hard work that we need to do to be sure that we are following the right process. And putting technology in between of all these will help us to do them well, better, and then we will capture the right data that we can now analyze, okay? So that when a student is even going for WAEC, if we put the right strategy in place, nobody will even think of malpractice because the right things have been done. Imagine you are going for an exam when you are well prepared. I can remember when I wrote my last jam, I already picked so many past questions 2-3 weeks before then in my English, in my biology, chemistry, physics. I have been scoring 85, 95 in some of these past questions. So I woke up that morning and I wasn't even thinking of someone is going to help me to pass the exam. And I wrote the exam and I scored 249. So at the end of the day, if we position curriculum properly, if you position pedagogy properly, and data is guiding every day, every activity, every intervention, we will be able to teach students successfully in the classroom and outside the classroom, and then education will get better. But it is the hard work that we are all running away from. But technology is going to help us with this. And the end result of every technology intervention is the data that comes out of the learning. So there is a need to now to accelerate the development of technology that will back curriculum and pedagogy that we have in our schools so that we can be led by data. Then, if you look at it very well, a lot of so many sweet and trendy conversations are going around that, you know, technology can replace teachers, or maybe school does not make sense. Maybe even if you see so many posts that people make that, oh, school doesn't teach this, why not teaching this in school? Or maybe school has not helped anybody. Trust me, it's a big lie. In teacher, we trust, and the teacher should lead. Even if there is going to be technology and AI intervention to help the student beyond the classroom, and in the classroom, the intervention, the innovation will still be led by the teachers. A lot of investment that have made sense in education technology are the ones that are led by the teachers. And how do we think about this? The teachers know their students. They understand their students. the teachers go all out of the way to build the connection with the students. Imagine, have you ever been in a situation where a young girl or a young boy in the house, you teach the boy to say it is this, and the person will say, my teacher said it is this. And you can't change it because the connection is there. I can remember when I was young, when our teachers are passing behind the house, we are not even going to even see the teacher. The moment we just hear the voice, the connection is there. That, oh, Mrs. Alabi is passing. Then you rush out to go and greet Mrs. Alabi. But technology should not override it. The technology should leverage on making sure the same teacher that has built the connection with the students still facilitate the learning through the technology. Random teachers teaching random students will never take us anywhere, even if we bring the technology to it. Trust me, a teacher that does not have connection with the students will have a little impact on the life of the student. Let's now imagine a teacher somewhere that knows nothing about the student, a student somewhere that knows nothing about the teacher, just watching the video of the teacher. The student might get entertained, maybe by eloquency on how dramatic the teacher can be, but learning requires that connection. And that is why during the COVID-19 lockdown, more research still spoke about the fact that the big reports, the big success results we got are still led by the teachers that took over that moment to say, let us go online and talk to our students and teach them, okay? That's why people moved to online teaching, and then the results came from the teachers that actually have the connection. So technology should be built to create the connection. So thank you very much. Yeah, if anything drops to your mind, I will go there and read it out. Thank you very much for that point. Then now, what can we do better without data? It is nothing. Beyond the classroom teaching require data. Even before we even go into teaching, there are some sort of data that the teachers need about the learners so that proper learning can be facilitated. I am a believer, and in my company, we believe so much in teaching beyond the classroom, using technology, using AI, using internet. But the teachers should lead. We should focus on pedagogy curriculum and make sure we always capture the right data. And then things will become much more better than the way it used to be in the classroom and beyond the classroom. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow, guys. I hope you were taking notes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. That was so on point. It was very, very apt. I'm a huge fan of data, and hopefully in the coming months, we are going to we're working on how we can even train our teachers on how to be data literate, looking at data literacy. And one thing that really stood out for me was the fact that you cannot do anything without data. If you don't have data,